transformation.
Beyond the classroom, we have learned the power of compassion and the importance of reaching out to those who are in need.
Our experiences have empowered us to believe in ourselves,
to dream big and work hard to make those dreams a reality.
In the halls of this college, we don't just pursue education.
We seek God's wisdom, His truth, and His purpose for our lives.
Your generous contribution have transformed this classroom into places of learning,
guiding us towards a much deeper understanding of His eternal word.
We are not just students, we are disciples on a mission, and the dream of this college,
which is to expand this church across Africa, resonates within each of us.
Your support enables us to become the vessels of His love, compassion, and truth,
reaching out to our communities to spread the gospel to those who desperately need it.
With hearts overflowing with gratitude, we thank you, our esteemed donors, for your unwavering support.
Your faith in God's plan and your commitment to His word propelled us forward.
Together, as fellow laborers in His vineyard, we are sowing seeds of transformation that will blossom for generations.
May God bless you abundantly, and may His grace continue to guide you as we strive to fulfill the divine purpose of SAPS.
We stand united in our mission to expand His church, bring hope to the lost, and glorify His name in all that we do.
The sound was fluid, but the video had a little break up there. But Southern Africa Bible College, there's this banner on the back wall of the main building. It's a large open room, kind of a gymnasium-sized room that's used to set up for lectureships and workshops, as well as some recreational activities such as volleyball. And on the sides there are some classrooms and a chapel area and a commercial kitchen that provides the meals daily for students and staff and faculty. And on the back wall is this banner that hangs there and reminds everyone, the students, the staff, the faculty, visitors, of why Southern Africa Bible College exists. And it's based on 2 Timothy 2:2, where Paul said to Timothy, the things you've heard from me in the presence of many witnesses, entrust to other men who will be able to teach others also. And that is the sole purpose for their existence. That's what they do. And if you'll click on that one more time, after 58 years, the same purpose is intact. They haven't wavered. They haven't changed their purpose. They haven't changed their commitment. But after 58 years, that is still their purpose. Next slide, please. Again, Southern Africa Bible College and you and other supporters of this work, you are the solutions to the problem. That problem of so many students going from Africa to the United States to study and never returning. Southern Africa Bible College, and with your support, you're a part of that, certainly solutions to the problem. Yes, Calvin. Yes, and some of them, in fact, I'll show you in just a little bit where all of the graduates are. Even though they are trained at Southern Africa Bible College, they're in many parts of the world. Next slide, please. The first few classes began under the chestnut tree that's still there on campus. That was a picture from this past April. And I take another picture each time I go, and that tree is just as beautiful and strong and healthy and vibrant as the college is itself. It now sits in the center of a 22-acre campus. Next. And tell you more about the campus in just a moment. But just some quick facts. The college is accredited by South Africa, by the South African government. They offer a Bachelor of Theology degree. They train and equip Christians as preachers and teachers and evangelists and even church leaders. And I'll talk about the impact on the church leadership as well. Next. It's operated by South Africans. These are all folks from South Africa. Some of them are board of directors, administrators, faculty, staff. The gentleman in the center with the circle around him, that's the new CEO. His father was the previous CEO, Fred Berg. This is Marcel Berg, and he took over as CEO or director of the college at the beginning of this year. And at the end of the time here, we'll hear a message from Marcel. But operated by South Africans, although it's overseen, this work is overseen by the Memorial Church in Houston, Texas. And they've been a part of this work almost from its beginning. But the church there, the elders oversee on a spiritual basis. They provide spiritual guidance and direction, counsel as needed. Also, any of the funds collected here in the United States will go to the Memorial Church in Houston, and they dispense those funds on a monthly basis as needed. There's also fundraising that takes place in South Africa. The congregation that provides the greatest amount of support is the Memorial Church in Houston, but the second and third congregations that provide the second and third largest contributions to the college are South African congregations. One in Benoni, the Benoni Church of Christ, which is where the college is located in Benoni, just a suburb of Johannesburg. And then the Ashley Gardens Church of Christ in Pretoria, not far from Johannesburg. But there's many congregations in South Africa and the U.S. as well as individuals that help to support this work. Next. There have been attendees over the 58 years. There have been 1,300 or so attendees from 30 different countries, now serving the Lord and His church in over 50 different countries around the world. There are some graduates that reside here and serve and preach really not far away from us. There have been students from Australia and New Zealand and Ireland, as well as Ukraine and Russia, who have attended Southern Africa Bible College, but predominantly most of them are from South Africa and the African continent. Next. One way in which congregations or individuals provide support for the college is by student sponsorships. And so some of the funds that are collected will go to sponsoring students. It takes about $8,400 a year to provide the sponsorship for one student that attends Southern Africa Bible College, $700 a month. And the Custer Avenue congregation, the funds that you have sent, help to sponsor these two individuals here, Deviano and Lizelle. And they have interesting stories, and we encourage the students to periodically turn in reports of their work, of their studies. And back on the table in the lobby there's a white table with some materials. Feel free to take those materials. There's some newsletters and some pamphlets, also some notepads. And if you would like to receive a newsletter each month via email, there's a sheet you can sign up. But also the reports from Deviano and Lizelle, their current reports are back there on the table, so feel free to pick up their reports and read what they have to say about their studies and their purpose for being there and some of their plans in the future. Next. This is the main building on campus. That tall part in the center is where that banner is on the back wall that reminds them of their purpose. Dormitories on either end, and then the lower part, there's some offices located there. But that's the main building on campus. When you drive in off the street, you drive down that brick driveway and you come to the main building on campus. Okay, next. Last year in 2023, we conducted a $1,000 renovation campaign. That building you just saw is about 30 years old, and it really hadn't been updated during that time, and it needed some updates. Needed some new beds for the dorms, needed some new kitchen appliances, needed some work on the ceilings. And if you'll go to the next one, This is the chapel area in that main building, and you can see the ceiling is just the metal roof. And it wasn't very efficient as far as energy is concerned without the insulation. And whenever it was raining, and there are some classrooms as well in this building, the students couldn't hardly hear the instructor because the rain was so loud on that metal building. Well, part of the campaign funds went to solve that problem. The next slide will show they have installed drop ceiling with insulation, and that's the same room there. And the next slide will show the finished product. And that was the case with most all of the classrooms. They were about the same way. The metal building, very noisy, not very efficient on cooling and heating, but now that problem has been fixed. That was one of the items on the agenda. The next slide. They needed new beds. The beds they had, wire frames with a little thin mattress, and they've replaced those beds with thicker mattresses and just a better bed. Next. They needed some new washing machines and do a lot of clothes washing, and so they were able to acquire some new washing machines. What about the dryers? Well, they don't use the clothes dryers. It's too expensive on electricity, and so they hang their laundry out. Humidity's not so bad where they can get by with that, but they did need some new washing machines in the dorms. Next. And also, because of the rolling blackouts, you can pretty well set your watch. Each day there will be some rolling blackouts. Usually on campus, it seemed like when we were there, it was from about 10 o'clock in the morning to noon, 2-hour period. And what they do to kind of get around that, they have some solar panels, and they also have some storage batteries that collect the excess electricity that they can use during those times of the blackouts. And so they install some solar panels. This is the library building, which is next to the main building. And next, we have 6 new batteries, storage batteries were installed. And in fact, this past April, they were in the process of installing this new solar control center to collect that extra electricity that gets them by when the electricity is off. That just seems to be a recurring issue there in South Africa, is the rolling blackouts. So this helps them to continue on when those periods come up. Next. There are some other things that were done with the campaign funds. They were able to expand some of the solar panels and batteries in some of the other buildings, as well as to update some of the married student housing. They have some houses where married students are able to live. They did some updates there. They are going to be this year extending their projects and put down some new tile floors in some of the buildings. So this year there's some ongoing projects as they use those funds that were collected for that purpose. So some updates have been going on. But it is a small college with a big impact on the church, and I'd like to share with you as we proceed to another slide to tell you about some of these big impacts that the college is making. They host some workshops each year. When Ryan was with us in 2023, he was a part of conducting these workshops. They have them for Bible class teachers, for preachers, for elders. And our group that goes over each year in April will go again this next April. This is a picture of this past April where we were gathered for the workshops right there on campus. They invite congregations from the area, and we'll have 160, 180 people that will gather from Churches of Christ in the area for these workshops. The ladies in our group from the U.S., as well as some of the ladies from the college there, will conduct the Bible class teachers workshop. They'll teach the ladies there about teaching children's classes, forming curriculum, singing the songs that are sung in the Bible classes here in the U.S. as well as Vacation Bible School. And while that's going on, the men in another part of the campus are conducting the preacher's workshop, and then while that's going on, there's an elder's workshop as well. And it's well attended. It's an all-day Saturday affair. And we also go about 6 or 7 hours to the northeast and conduct the same workshops at the Chittimbini Church of Christ, because they invite us up there and say it's too far for our people to travel down to the college. Bring your workshop to us, if you will. And so for the last 2 years, we have accommodated them, and good response as well. That's one way the college is making an impact. Another way, perhaps you might remember, we talked about Noah's Ark. It's a benevolent program that is at the entrance of a very poor neighborhood there in Johannesburg. There are thousands of people and thousands of children that live in that neighborhood. There is a church that has been established there at the entrance. It's the Zenzele Church of Christ. And these buildings, the building on the right is the meeting house where they meet on Sundays. Well, each day, if you'll advance another one, each day the children, as they make their way home from school, they stop there, and the preacher, they have a full-time preacher, he sings songs with them, they have Bible drills. Students from the college come there and engage with the students, and the singing and the Bible drills, and just really try to encourage those young children. And after they do this, the next slide shows that they are sent home after having a meal there at Noah's Ark. And they feed about 150 children each day as they make their way home from school, providing them a good meal before they make their way on home. The college students are involved in this work, and that's another way that they make an impact on the kingdom of God. The church has been established right there, so they're making a difference in the lives of these children and the people that live there. Next slide will show that this is one of the old beds from the dormitories on campus, and once they received their new beds on campus, they donated their old beds to this settlement there at where Noah's Ark is located. And this is some of the students helping to deliver these beds to the residences there at this encampment. And that picture there is pretty typical of the housing in this poor neighborhood. And so they're thrilled to death to get these new beds from Southern Africa Bible College. Next. The third-year students each year go on a mission trip for a couple of weeks to a congregation away from campus, and they'll spend 2 weeks there. They'll knock doors, they'll set up Bible studies, they'll conduct those Bible studies. They will equip the congregation on evangelism and how to deal with the follow-up of those who are converted to Christ. This year there were 6 from this congregation that were added as a result of those studies. Last year there were about 18 in another congregation where they spent their campaign. This is the picture of the congregation and the students from the college who were there working with them for that 2-week period. And the next slide, this shows the congregation there, and that is their facilities. They meet under this tree. They have tarps and other materials that form the walls of that congregation, and that's where this church meets each week to worship God. And that church has grown. They've grown by 6 souls this year. And so that's another way the college students impact the kingdom of God and help it to grow, is by reaching out and sharing the gospel with those in the area. Next. The Chilwella Church of Christ, not far from there, not far from the campus, has existed for a long time, but for a long time had not had a preacher or elders or deacons. In 2019, they put in elders for the first time. They were able to hire a preacher. And a couple of years later, they put in some deacons for the first time. What is interesting about this is the preacher and one of the elders are graduates of Southern Africa Bible College, and one of the deacons is attending the college on a part-time basis. And that just goes to show you that not only has Southern Africa Bible College equipped Christians as preachers and teachers and evangelists, but also as church leaders. And they're making a big impact as they help provide stability and strength and leadership in the congregations that they minister in as graduates. Next. This is the elder of that congregation, one of the elders, who is a graduate of Southern Africa Bible College. Francis was an employee in the diamond mines in South Africa. At about the age of 60, he retired from the diamond mines. And as an elder, he wanted to be more effective, and so he enrolled in Southern Africa Bible College. And he'll make some statements here. We'll have a little video clip here of his words and really his thinking on how important Southern Africa Bible College has been to at least the congregation where he serves as an elder. So here we go.
If you do have a congregation without somebody from SAPS, from the Bible College, you better think twice or more, because you will never succeed. I've got experience before and after from Chawela, because I congregated there since I got baptized. There was no one from the Bible College. After that, because you'll be working more harder, because you know you have a knowledge now of the Bible from the college, your increase, it will be more than 60% or 100%, because you have knowledge. And again, you're not going to spend time arguing the people. It's not necessary for you, because now you know. You got a knowledge from the Bible. I will really say, please, if there's a brethren there outside in South Africa, let's encourage more people to come to the Bible College, because that's our future.
Francis is very bold in his statements about the impact of the college on the Chilwella Church of Christ, and he's seen it firsthand. It has grown, it has increased as far as the size of the congregation, and he is very grateful for the impact that Southern Africa Bible College has had on him, but also the congregation itself. Next. Just to remind you of the partnership with SABS, and we certainly express our thanks to this congregation for your partnership, because everything that goes on there, the benevolent work, the preaching, the establishing new congregations in areas where the church doesn't exist. In fact, there are some students who, when they graduate, they want to go to their hometown or village and establish the church there, because in many instances the church doesn't exist where they were raised. And you have a part in that. And so just to share with you about the impact of the partnership, if we can go to the next one. One way you can partner with SABS is to just keep yourself informed. And that's the purpose of the materials back on the table. Pick up those newsletters. There's a new fall newsletter, such as this one, that will be coming out in a few weeks. Each year, Kirk Eason from the Memorial Church, who I work with, he puts together one of these multi-page newsletters in the fall. He also provides a monthly newsletter by email, the one you can sign up for on the table back there. And so that's a way you can just keep yourself informed. You can constantly keep up with what's going on. There's usually some video clips of some students being interviewed in those newsletters. But I encourage you to stay informed, and one way to do that on a monthly basis is to sign up for the newsletters. Next. Also include SABS in your prayers. The board of directors, the administration, the faculty, the students, the congregations where the students are ministering, all appreciate your prayers. The Apostle Paul was not shy about asking for prayers. He would inform the brethren he was writing to that he's praying for them, but he would also request that they pray for him. And at Southern Africa Bible College, we ask for your prayers as well. Next. Another way is to partner with SABS is just come and see for yourself. Appreciate the congregation last year in 2023, sending Ryan over on that trip. And yes, it's a rather long trip. From the time I leave Oklahoma City and arrive in Johannesburg, it's about a 24-hour either in an airport or up in the air. The longest stretch is from the East Coast, the New Jersey airport, down to Johannesburg. That's the longest flight across the Atlantic. But before you know it, you're there. Next, we encourage congregations that support the work to send representatives. And our group that goes over each year, that's, they're made up of preachers, elders, deacons, Bible class teachers, church members that are interested in the work. And so we encourage that. Before we leave to come home, we are able to go on a little camera safari. They have some big safaris there not far from Johannesburg, and we get some pretty up-close pictures of some of these creatures. Next. From time to time, people ask me, what do you eat over there? And quite frankly, sometimes I'll say, I don't have a clue what I'm eating. But I eat it. And, kind of like that commercial. Some of us are old enough to remember that commercial where kids are around a table and some of them don't like what they're supposed to eat. And someone says, I'll give it to Mikey. Mikey will eat anything. Well, I'm kind of like Mikey. I could have been in that commercial because I'll try anything once. But there's some chicken, there's some vegetables, there's some beef and some other things, mashed potatoes and some other things that are kind of unique to their culture. But the next one, someone said, well, be sure and get some worms. I said, what? And yes, they had a bowl of, they called it worms. I looked at it and I thought, that looked like a caterpillar. Anyway, Mikey will eat anything, so I got me a spoonful of that and put on my plate. And I thought, well, that's going to be crunchy because it looks pretty charred. But it was actually pretty chewy. Not much taste to it. But anyway, I don't know what they call it, but I call it a caterpillar. But that's one of the most unusual items that I have put in my mouth. But actually, I went back and got some seconds, so I guess it was all right. Next. And then, of course, partnering with SABS includes investing financially, as this congregation has done. We appreciate the support. Next. Just to reiterate about the student sponsorships, if you'll click on it again, $300 a month provides room and board for a student, and $400 a month provides tuition and fees for a student. And then, of course, any amount is welcome, and we thank you for the partnership that y'all have had in providing funding that helps these students to receive the education that they have enrolled in. One student, Mike, you'll be interested in this, one of the students was converted through World Bible School. And he decided he wanted to become a preacher, and so he enrolled in Southern Africa Bible College, and I believe he maybe graduates this year, and he'll be a preacher of the gospel and wants to be effective in the kingdom. But it's for student sponsorships like this that make it possible for those students to reach their goal of wanting to preach the gospel and evangelize on a full-time basis. Next. Also, some are interested in legacy-type gifts. And some of these gifts, if you'll click next, some will provide funding through estate planning or will, and also stocks, real estate, other assets are given to the college, and life insurance proceeds. Those are just some other ways that people, individuals will partner with the work. And so with your partnership, I want you to keep in mind what happens. First of all, you equip students for ministry. You have a part in that. As these students are in class and they're receiving their instruction, you equip them for ministry, and by doing so, you help spread the gospel and save souls. You are a part of those campaigns that they go on, the third-year students each year. You plant and strengthen churches, because some of these students, they graduate, they go and they help establish a new congregation, or they serve in a congregation maybe that sent them to Southern Africa Bible College in the first place. And you engage in good works, such as the Noah's Ark ministry, where they feed the children and provide beds for them. And you engage in those good works. And then you work with and glorify God. Fellow workers with God in the good things that are going on through this small college. Next. I have a message here from the current CEO, Marcel Berg. Let's see, go back one if you would. Video will start up here in just a second.
The college has a very exciting future. We have big plans for the college. We want to expand the college in terms of our online offering. We want to look at expanding the college's reach throughout Southern Africa, as well as the influence of the college. The school its sole purpose is really to serve the church. So it's everything we're about is about serving the church in Southern Africa and the world really, but specifically focused on Southern Africa. We provide men and women to go back into congregations and to really teach others also. So it's not only about putting preachers in pulpits, which is for sure something that we're trying to do, giving congregations that kind of stability, which is critical, something that is lacking in the country at the moment, putting competent preachers in pulpits, but it's more than that. It's about equipping members of congregations who understand the Bible and are able to defend the faith. And by teaching people the truth at the college and sending them out back to their congregations, because that's the main purpose, we are able to accomplish that. The Southern Africa Bible College does receive the majority of its support, of our support, from the United States and from churches outside of South Africa. But it's critically important that the church in South Africa supports the college, not only by sending students here, but financially as well. Our intention is to try to become as self-sufficient as is possible within the framework of the country in which we live. A special note to the supporters from the United States. I think it's no exaggeration at all to say that the college in its present form wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your generosity, if it wasn't for your foresight, for your loving and humble hearts. And we are so appreciative of those hearts. We are so appreciative of your support. And our endeavor is to be loyal to that support, is to look after that support to the very best of our ability, to understand that that is someone's contribution towards the work of the Lord, and that is the money that we're using to try and spread the gospel in Southern Africa. And not only spread the gospel, but also to equip churches in Southern Africa to be stronger and more self-sufficient.
We want to thank you all. We want to thank you all. We want to thank you all. May God be with you. We want to thank you all. We want to thank you all. We want to thank you all. May God
And again, we thank this congregation for your support. Just to give you an idea of the vision for the future, it's a small college now. They have around 30 to 33 students. They hope to increase that up to 45 to 50. But also they want to increase even more because their vision for the future is to add online studies to where not only there's students there on campus, but there's also students that are enrolled online. And when they do that, they anticipate that their enrollment will be as much as 150 students, counting online and on-campus students. So they have a bright future with big plans. Souls are receptive to the gospel on the continent of Africa. They're wanting to study the Word of God. They're interested, and churches are being established. Churches are growing. They're being strengthened, and Southern Africa Bible College has played a role in that happening. So that's my update regarding SABS. Again, there's material back there on the table in the lobby. I encourage you to pick up. Any questions? Maybe have a question. Yes, Afrikaans is one, Zulu, and some of these students will speak 3 or 4 different languages in addition to English. But English is very prominent, and you'll notice even most of the students will have a British accent. But English is taught in the classes. Now they'll sing songs with us in English,